a brand new episode of the Sri Lankan Understanding. We're here today at our location sponsor, the Maitland Stateroom of the Mount Lavinia Hotel, a beautiful space that has a lot of history. And the Sri Lankan Understanding is about exploring where have we come from and where are we going, and I like to do this through the lens of women's histories. And there is someone here that I have been trying very hard to get for an interview, and I'm privileged and honored that she has agreed to be here, and she has made her way here all the way from Kurunegala today, and that is Miss Sandra Wanduragala. I think she's no stranger to the Sri Lankan history or understanding of Sri Lankan women entrepreneurs and women leaders in this country, really. She's a pioneer in the industry of the handloom craft, as well as in giving women empowerment and women leadership, especially outside of urban Colombo spaces. So thank you. I'm very, very grateful that you came. I would like to start off with your personal journey in becoming the legend that you are considered. I know you don't consider yourself legendary, because that's another lovely thing about you, is that you are so humble after having accomplished and given so much to this country. But this legacy that you have created had to start somewhere. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey?
Thank you, Shanuki, for asking me to come for this show. Though I was very reluctant, and I am determined to think that this is the last one I'll do. And however, it's a pleasure that I could share my journey with the younger entrepreneurs and women, that they could be inspired in some way. I am a lawyer by profession, and I'm a people's person, and I never like to struggle and juggle with a lot of documents, though I still do my legal practice to keep myself, my home files burning. But handloom came my way, and that was a choice which came very accidentally to me. And same as me, I thought that this is a beautiful way that we could also preserve the craft and also give so many women employment. So my journey started in 1991 as an entrepreneur, and I never believed that, or I never discovered that there was an entrepreneur living in me and a creative person living in me. So I saw my mother struggle with 6 of us and having a very hard life, and that empathy towards women had been always with me since my childhood. So when the handloom industry opened its doors to me, of course with the influence of my husband, Dr. Newton Pires, and I took it upon myself to start the business and employ women who were in the village. So I started with 15 women. It was not 15, actually about 5 women on and off. And I employed a teacher. I didn't know anything about handloom. All I knew was something related to law. But that creative side in me and the determination to make it work made it possible for me to come to where I am. So in my journey, what I saw was, it was challenging.
Yeah.
I was very, very focused to make it work, and I was determined. Now when you go to India, you see Indian craft, and you see it's something Indian, right? And they can be proud of that they have some craft. But in Sri Lanka, when you think of it, handloom has been from the inception of our history. But where is it now?
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I thought I should do something to revive this at a time when the handloom industry was really going down with the open economy, and the looms were shelved in all the timber. They were using it for timber, and I bought a lot of old looms, right? So reviving it was not easy.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a daunting task, but I think I have made it. Even to be, I don't want to boast about myself.
I will boast for you that the organization that you created, or the institution that you created, is Sri Lanka's largest and oldest handloom exporter, and
not the oldest.
Not the oldest. Okay.
The biggest.
The biggest. And from starting with 5 women, you are now employing over 1,000 women.
Yes.
Who are earning because of you. Women who couldn't go out and earn in a traditional workplace, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're okay to boast. It's okay to boast. Can you tell me about now this handloom craft itself? Why did you choose handloom? Yes, you had a fascination to preserve the craft, but because you're not someone who has had that coming down to you in the family or anything like that. And how is it that it's women who are actually custodians of this craft and industry, right? It's always women who have been doing this. What is it about women that this makes this work?
I think starting with our history, it was Kueni whom we recognize, who was obviously a woman, who was a symbol of this industry, right? So she's a woman, and I think during Mrs. Bandaranayaka's regime, a lot of women were employed in this industry, and mostly the weavers were women, but there are also men in the Batticaloa area. And when you look at the industry, the people who have preserved it, like I have to mention Mrs. Barbara Sansoni, Mrs. Yahampat from Candix, and then of course us, and many are also women. So I think this industry is a creative industry where you need some creative talent to preserve it, and you also need to have empathy, because it's not like a garment factory where you get the workers, you get them to work, you do some product, but it's something creative, and also the weaver needs to be given the independence and the space to work, to weave the fabric. And when you look at the fabric, she breathes into the fabric. It's her sweat that goes into the fabric. It's so much connected to one's body, mind, and motion and life. So that empathy towards the women who weave, it's, I think, very important.
Thank you. We're going to go into I love what you said, that she breathes into the fabric that she's weaving, and I've never looked at the craft in that way, that there is such a harmony and a connection between the threads and the woman's hands who hold it.
And the mind.
And the mind, that's amazing. Okay, that blows my mind. And we will come back to talk about this more with Sandra Wanduragala, the creator and pioneer of Celine, when on the other side of the screen. Welcome back. We are talking about Sri Lankan handloom and how this industry really pioneered by women like Ms. Sandra Wanduragala here with me, how it has really been synonymous with symbolizing Sri Lanka, representing Sri Lankan craft and Sri Lankan tradition. and more so how it has empowered a nation of women who have maybe not been able to work elsewhere to become financially independent. So that's what I want to talk to you about now. How has this industry, or what you have done with the Celine business, how has it contributed to women's empowerment and financial independence? In what ways?
So mostly the weaving plants are in the villages, right? And most of them, the weavers are farmers' family. So we give them the flexibility also to work in their fields, right? When the harvesting happens and when the fields are being readied for the cultivation, right? So I think that flexibility keeps the industry going. But when you really think about it, the weaving community is aging, and if we need to get the younger generation involved in the weaving, we need to do a lot of work. There should be a good plan, and also what I feel sad about is that we have to recognize that we need to have a Sri Lankan identity. We have to be proud about our craft, be it handloom or any other craft, right? We have to give them the self-worth and make them feel proud about what they are doing, right? That because they are part of our country, they are part of our culture, they are part of our heritage, right? So if we give them that worth, this industry will come up. Now say some people, they will pay a lot of money to buy some Adidas or some branded Nike or something, but will they pay money for a hand woven product, right? They will think twice, oh, this is very expensive, right? So people, because they pay for the brand but not for something
the
that
craft or the person.
Or the person. And but I am so glad to feel that we have been able to give the handloom industry a new twist, and we are working hard to get the craft to suit the European taste, the market, what the market needs, and in order to give women more work.
And how is it contributing to their empowerment at the end of the day? How is the weaver, what are the different ways in which Celine, for instance, has empowered these weavers?
Now in one or two of our workshops, we have daycare centers, right? Then they are free to come and keep the child in the daycare while the child is being looked after by a teacher, and then they can work in the weave in the centers. So they earn some money which is additional to their income, the husband's income, right? But some women are widowed, or they are the man have left them, and this is a good alternative, I feel, for without sending them abroad as housemaids. They can really be with their children, with their families, and make a living. So I think that itself, for a mother, it's being empowered, right? You don't need to go abroad and work in the Middle East, but you can stay at home with your children, and also because the child needs a mother, right? According to our whatever culture. So I think that itself is a certain amount of moral empowerment. And also the financial empowerment, because they will have their own money to spend. Right? So I feel that we need to have an organized rethink about reviving this industry, like the craft, getting young people in, getting them to love, because otherwise this is going to die. And I hope it won't happen within my lifetime, but I see, when I look far, I see that the sustenance is challenged.
And okay, so for the women themselves, and maybe for you, that is one challenge, but what are the other challenges that women face? The women who are working in the industry already, what are some of the challenges that they might be going through?
Sometimes they are subject to domestic violence, and then the most amount of responsibility is taken by women. And if they are coming to work and if the man has to go out, they have to stay at home looking after. So this is part of our culture and how people live, right? So sometimes it's mental abuse, sometimes it's physical abuse and alcoholism, right? So these things are there in the villages. But we as an organization, when we talk about the social enterprise model, we think of empowering them morally and economically, right? So we do a lot of workshops, we talk to them, we try to, sometimes they don't understand what the problem is or the solution. So for me as a lawyer, I have the ability to advise them, you know, so that is also a plus for them. But I think those are the common issues.
The barriers.
The barriers.
All right. And thank you for sharing that. And after we come back from the break, I want to talk about what is the future of this industry and how has the Celine Fairtrade social enterprise started making innovation work in Sri Lanka for the handloom industry. We'll be back. Hello again, and in this segment I want to talk about the future, not only of the handloom industry but of Celine Enterprises, and what sort of innovations, what technologies, what new thinking has done for your business and for Sri Lanka. And these are some things that you have been awarded for as well. So if you can talk to me about the blockchain technology that you have brought in, which is a first in the country, and you know, other innovations and new age technologies that you might have introduced.
With the handloom fabric, we have innovated and we do a lot of value addition, right? We have a team of designers who are working on it. And my thinking is that we have to do a very value added product that we can also get a good price where we can pay the people more, right? So value addition is in a big way done in our organization, and we have the weaving and then also the sewing units. Then we have introduced with this tariff problem, we have got a new twist into our business where the toy manufacturers who have been working in USA are looking for suppliers in other countries with lower tariff. So now we are making big investments for the business to get new machinery and technology into the industry, so that we can be more efficient and more cost effective, right? So we have the fair trade certification, and we also have the natural dyes and the non-toxic dyes, and we have certifications for all our dyes and chemicals, and also for our fabric, right? So those are the investments we have made so that this industry could be taken into another level, right? That the fabric woven by the women can be used for safely for other products. And then we introduced the blockchain technology. That is the first, I think, in the country and maybe the world, where a craft industry used the blockchain technology to trace the entire product chain, right? So that it goes
so there's
up.
Full transparency into the
the transparency, to show the transparency, and that was a very good initiative, I think, and now we are going to make use of it for the other products, right? So I I don't want to boast about myself, but I was recognized by the Forbes because of that initiative.
Yeah.
And we are also working on this reusable sanitary pad in order to address the period poverty in the country, also using our fabric and also coupling our fabric with other fabric. So more the fabric we use and more work we create is for the women and the economy of this country, right? So as you know, Shanuki, you also help us with the Bleed Good movement, where we are giving the education on menstrual hygiene and also encouraging the women to use the reusable sanitary napkin. So like that, we are always innovating and thinking of new ways to empower the woman, right? So my personal aim is, my motivation is never been money.
Yeah.
And never been power. My motivation is to see and ensure that the Sri Lankan rural woman has a fair deal.
Yeah.
And more the women we can impact, and more we can keep the women at home.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think, I run a school. I see how the children suffer when the mother is not at home. Right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to think sometimes the insecurity they have, right? So the motive behind my thinking is, more the women are empowered, more we can impact the women of the country.
Thank you. Which is very powerful. As much as you keep saying you don't want to boast about yourself, the work itself boasts about you. And then just as a final question, I know we have talked about this in different ways throughout this conversation, but what is your vision? What you have said, you want to bring back the value to this traditional craft, the perceived value that people really need to understand and to really acknowledge this historical craft that we have, that is indigenous to us, to really put that value on it. But what is your vision for Celine Enterprises going forward? What is your vision for the women of Celine who are working with you? I know during COVID times, I know the story of how a lot of companies around Sri Lanka had to lay people off, when you also had 70% of your exports that just fell because of COVID, the economic crisis, but you didn't let a single woman go. So what is your vision for sustaining this impact that you have as a social enterprise?
My final vision is to make this a people's organization. And I might not be able to do it within my lifetime, but I know and I have the confidence that Selina will do it, and that the women also will be benefited owning a share in the company. That's the larger vision, right? But I really want to talk to the government, instead of just giving money to people, if they can invest that money in uplifting the craft sector, right? Looking at the lives of these craft people, some are living in bitter poverty, right? So if they can select that area to develop, right? It's a larger thing which I have no power to do. Maybe I can influence, but I don't know, right? But my vision is to see, for as a country, that Sri Lanka will have its own craft to be proud of. When you go to a craft shop, it will all be Sri Lankan, right? Not Indian or Indonesian. Right? I'm not putting them down, but we need to have our own identity, right? As a nation. And then for Celine, it's that more women are impacted and more visibility and transparency could be given through the blockchain, that the buyers will understand what we are doing, which will directly benefit the people who work and indirectly benefit the economy of the country. And I'm so passionate about it. I'm very focused on it to see that our customers are finally happy and that the benefit of that will go into the women and the country.
Thank you. And that brings this episode to an end with the lasting thought in my mind at the end of this conversation that we talk about how it takes a village to make change, but sometimes it just takes one person to start that change and to spark that change. And one person, one woman in rural Sri Lanka, in an environment where traditionally women don't have as much power to make these changes alone, one woman has done it. And that's a history that I want to honor, and that's why I wanted you here. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Sandra.